Ifeoma set the table with her own hands that Sunday afternoon. Jollof rice, grilled fish, chilled zobo for a family friend her mother-in-law insisted on entertaining. She served the woman personally, smiling the way a good wife smiles for her husband's family. She had no idea she was serving her husband's mistress, seated at her own dining table, eating food she herself had cooked. Before we find out how Ifeoma discovers the truth, hit that subscribe button right now, because what this woman really is to the family will shock you almost as much as it shocked Ifeoma. Stay till the end. This one gets vicious. Ifeoma had been married to Emeka for 4 years, living in a modest duplex in Enugu that they shared, according to tradition, with Emeka's mother, Mama Chidinma, a woman who had never fully warmed to Ifeoma, though never openly hostile either. Cordial, distant, the kind of mother-in-law who corrected Ifeoma's cooking without asking and grew visibly tense whenever the subject of grandchildren came up, since Ifeoma had given Emeka 2 daughters and in Mama Chidinma's stubborn old-fashioned thinking, still no son to carry the name. That Sunday, Mama Chidinma announced a guest was coming, a family friend from her hometown church, a young woman named Perpetua, visiting Enugu for a few weeks and needing somewhere comfortable to stay while she sorted out some business. Ifeoma cooked a full Sunday spread and welcomed Perpetua with genuine warmth. Perpetua thanked her, complimented the food, and settled into the guest room without complaint. This small thing started almost immediately, though Ifeoma didn't notice the pattern until much later. Emeka, who had never been particularly protective of his phone in 4 years of marriage, suddenly began angling the screen away whenever he received a message, locking it reflexively, even when Ifeoma had no interest in it at all. One evening, passing the parlor, Ifeoma overheard Perpetua laughing at something and saying, "Ah, Papa Small, you are still doing that thing with your left eyebrow when you are lying." A private nickname Ifeoma had never once heard anyone use for her husband, not even his own mother. She mentioned it to Emeka that night, half joking. "Papa Small, where did she get that from?" Emeka's laugh came a bit too late. "Oh, old joke, from church probably. People talk." It wasn't a real answer. Ifeoma noticed, filed it away, and said nothing more. Not yet. Around the same time, Mama Chidinma grew unusually sharp whenever Ifeoma asked simple questions about Perpetua's background. "Which part of the village is she from again?" Ifeoma asked once at breakfast. "Why does it matter?" Mama Chidinma snapped, far more defensive than the question warranted. "She is a guest. Focus on your own house." The truth arrived by accident, the way it often does. Doing laundry one afternoon, Ifeoma found Emeka's phone charging in the bedroom, screen lit with an incoming message she wasn't meant to see. "Your mother said dinner is at 7. Should I come through the back gate again so your wife doesn't ask questions? Sender, Perpetua." Ifeoma stood frozen, the laundry basket slipping from her hands. She scrolled further, hands shaking, uncovering months of messages predating Perpetua's arrival entirely, declarations of love, plans for meetings, photographs from a hotel dated 8 months earlier. This wasn't new. This wasn't confusion. Perpetua was Emeka's mistress and had been for the better part of a year before she ever set foot inside Ifeoma's womb. Reveal 1. Confirmed. Ifeoma's stomach turned. Grief and rage tangled together, but something told her this still wasn't the whole picture. She spent the following days watching more carefully than she had ever, and what she found chilled her further. Buried in a group chat she had never known existed, a message from Mama Chidimma's own number. Bring her to stay with us for a while. Better she is close where I can help arrange things properly than meeting in hotels like common people. Her own mother-in-law hadn't simply tolerated the affair, she had orchestrated it, inviting her son's mistress directly into the family home, disguising her as a church friend, and having Ifeoma herself cook, serve, and welcome the very woman destroying her marriage. Ifeoma sat with that knowledge for 2 full days before digging further, driven by a nagging detail. Perpetua's easy familiarity with the household, the way she moved through Mama Chidimma's kitchen like she'd been there before. The photographs on Mama Chidimma's own dresser, Ifeoma had walked past 100 times without truly looking. In one of them, a much younger Perpetua stood beside Mama Chidimma at a family christening, both women wearing matching aswebi. Perpetua wasn't a distant church acquaintance at all. She was Mama Chidimma's own niece, a cousin's daughter, brought in deliberately, positioned specifically because Mama Chidimma believed in her own stubborn, old-fashioned thinking. Only a woman of her own bloodline could finally deliver the grandson she was convinced Ifeoma was somehow failing to provide. Ifeoma called a family dinner of her own the following Sunday, insisting Mama Chidimma, Emeka, and Perpetua all be present, framing it as ordinary. She cooked, as always, with her own hands, betraying nothing of what was coming. As everyone settled at the table, Ifeoma placed her phone beside her plate instead of sitting to eat. Perpetua, she said calmly, you told me you came here because Mama needed somewhere for you to stay while you sorted out some business. Is that still your story? Perpetua's smile faltered. Yes, that's... Ifeoma played the voice note. Your mother said dinner is at 7. Should I come through the back gate again so your wife doesn't ask questions? Silence. Perpetua's face went pale. Ifeoma turned to Emeka next. Papa Small, interesting nickname for a church friend to know. Emeka's mouth opened. Nothing came out. Finally, Ifeoma turned to Mama Chidimma, and this time her voice shook with the full weight of everything she had uncovered. I found the christening photo. She's your niece. You brought your own blood into this house to sleep with my husband and let me cook for her like a guest because you believe I'm the reason you have no grandson. Mama Chidimma's composure shattered completely. You think I could simply wait forever? She snapped from her seat. 2 granddaughters and no sign of a son coming. I did what needed to be done for this family's future. You don't even understand how a child's sex is determined, Ifeoma said, disbelief cutting through her fury. That was never mine to control. You destroyed this family chasing a superstition. Emeka, cornered now by both women, finally spoke. Ifeoma, I never meant it for this to go this far. You meant exactly this, Ifeoma cut in. Every message, every hotel visit, every dinner I served her, while you both let me believe she was simply a guest in my own house. The fallout tore through the extended family within days. Ifeoma's own relatives arrived furious, demanding accountability not just from Emeka, but from Mama Chidimma, who had weaponized her own family bloodline against a daughter-in-law who had done nothing but serve the household faithfully for 4 years. Perpetua left the house within the week, her own family mortified at the scandal now attached to their name. Mama Chidimma, stripped of the quiet authority she had wielded for years, found herself increasingly isolated as extended family sided overwhelmingly with Ifeoma once the manipulation came to full light. Emeka begged for forgiveness, promising the affair had ended before Ifeoma discovered it, promising counseling, promising change. Ifeoma didn't answer him that night or the next. She packed a bag for herself and her daughters and moved in with her sister in Keru for 3 weeks, refusing every phone call Emeka made, needing distance before she could even decide what she wanted, let alone what she could forgive. When she finally agreed to speak with him again, it wasn't with open arms. It was with conditions. Mama Chidinma would no longer live under the same roof as our marriage. Emeka would attend counseling alone before any joint sessions began. And trust, Ifeoma made clear, would not simply be declared rebuilt because he asked for it. It would have to be earned, slowly, through actions sustained over time she hadn't decided the length of.